Jamsin Entertainment.
Hello! This is the final video for prep work of Captain America's Civil War, Avengers, and Avengers Age of Ultron. Both movies were built up with movies leading up to it. Avengers was built up with origin stories of Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, kinda Hulk. If you saw the Hulk review, you know what I'm talking about. Then, Ultron was built up with Iron Man 3, which I'm actually going to watch now. I've heard people say that it's vast improvement over 2, and it has a good tie-in to Avengers. Winter Soldier and Thor Dark World. Avengers starts out at an unknown location, unknown facility owned by S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're working on the Tesseract. Remember, the Tesseract is from First Avenger. The Red Skull was using it to create weapons for his rogue faction of the Nazis, Hydra. And he dies or gets transported to another world when he tries to take the Tesseract with him and flee. Tesseract stays on Earth. It gets found with Captain America and picks up with S.H.I.E.L.D. working on it. You find that S.H.I.E.L.D. has recruited Dr. Eric Selvig from Thor. He's working on it, and Nick Fury comes in and checks on the progress. And Selvig says that the Tesseract is misbehaving, and Fury's kind of bewildered by that. Like, what do you mean by misbehaving? It's just energy, right? Yeah, but it actually has like its own personality and I don't know, thoughts and stuff. I don't know. And he asks where Hawkeye is, also introduced in Thor. And he says he's up in his perch, where he's Hawkeye, so he's gonna watch everything from above. He comes down, he's talking about him, he's trying to figure out what's going on, and Hawkeye's like, well, maybe someone's trying to tap in from the other side. He's like, and Nick Fury's like, what? Well, yeah, it's a portal, right? Doors open from both sides. Enter Loki, the villain for the film. Good villain. He comes in, he has a scepter given to him by Thanos.
Spoiler alert! You've been warned.
Sorry. Spoiler alert! You should know by now, these are all spoilers. Thanos is the big bad. It's leading up to the Infinity Wars. Anyway. He has this scepter. And scepter somehow has this ability that when it touches someone on the chest, or the heart more accurately, it controls their mind. So, he controls everyone but Nick Fury for some reason. I don't know. So Loki and his new henchmen take the Tesseract and escape. But the facility is crashing down because when Loki came through, a singularity hits and it's imploding. And they have to escape. And there's a cool chase / fight scene on the way out. You're introduced to a new character. Oh god. I know the actress's name, Kobe Smulders. I'm trying to remember her. Sorry, it's Kobe Smulders from now on. She is Nick's, I guess, right-hand woman. At least that's how they portray her in the rest of the movies. And she is part of the pursuit of getting back the Tesseract. And they don't succeed in doing that. And so they ask, Coulson's there too, and he asks, what do we do now, director? We go to phase 1, which you find out to be the Avengers opening title. So Nick Fury sends out his team to gather the Avengers. Black Widow goes after Bruce Banner to convince him to help them out to only find the Tesseract. They don't necessarily need the Hulk. And that's what gets Banner on board, because he doesn't want to be the Hulk. He's trying to avoid that the entire time. Nick Fury goes and recruits Captain America. Not too difficult. Captain America's a soldier, so he just follows orders. Coulson goes and recruits Iron Man. And that was a little more difficult because he didn't want to do it. SHIELD came back to Tony Stark and said, "You don't work and play well with others." He actually recites that back to Coulson in the movie. But Pepper's there, his girlfriend, and she convinces him after seeing the footage and the files and stuff that was given to him that this is important, he should help them out. And so that's how they get Tony Stark. Hawkeye's already, well, he's mind controlled, so he comes back later. So they gather them on the helicarrier, huge flying ship, and with SHIELD's vast surveillance, the NSA level, they're tapping into every cell phone, security camera, TVs, anything that's a camera or a microphone is them to use to find whoever. And they locate Loki in Germany, and they send out Captain America, and Captain America has a small bit where Loki has a small group of people kneeling, and he says, "Last time I fought in Germany and everyone demanded people to kneel, and he stood above them. We had a disagreement." Nice little bit. And he fights Loki. He finds that he's actually really tough because Loki's more or less a god. And enter Tony Stark. This is how he tells them that he's ready to help them out. And Loki gets captured. Seems a little too easy. And Captain America points that out why they're going back to SHIELD. And while they're on the plane, lightning starts flashing all over the place, and you see Loki's worried. Black Widow asks, like, "What are you worried about?" I was like, "You're afraid of a little thunder or lightning?" He's like, "I'm not overly fond of what follows." Enter Thor. He comes on the plane, grabs Loki, and leaves. That's where Captain America and Iron Man are like, "Who is that guy?" And Iron Man's like, "I don't care, I'm just going after him." Captain's like, "We need a plan of attack." And I do have a plan. Attack. Iron Man's gone. Captain America gets a parachute on. Black Widow says, might want to stick this one out. Those two are basically gods. And I personally love this bit. Captain America says, "There's only one God, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that." Off Captain America goes. There's a battle between them because Thor is trying to take Loki back to Asgard for trial, and they have a disagreement, but he finds out what's going on with the Tesseract, and I guess Thor figures out, okay, I gotta help these guys out. So they get back together and they go take Loki to the helicarrier, and Loki's in a prison cell that it's actually built to hold the Hulk, which I don't think would hold the Hulk. Haven't seen anything yet that can actually hold the Hulk. In Ultron, he gets subdued. Yeah. So there's a laboratory on the helicarrier. Banner's there already looking for the Tesseract because Tesseract gives off gamma radiation, and that's why they recruited him. He's the top notch in gamma radiation, so he was able to narrow it down because SHIELD was like, "We're searching everything. We're looking for a little needle in the entire world." And Banner's like, "No, we can make this easier." "Oh, Get rid of that. And now Iron Man's helping him out. And Iron Man has Tony Stark has fun with him. He says you gotta stop tiptoeing, big man. You gotta strut. And Captain America also happens to be there, and he says, "Stop provoking him. You know what he's capable of, right?" And Banner's like, "It's okay. I can handle it. I wouldn't have joined if I couldn't." And there's a whole conversation going on. The Scepter, they're now examining that because the Tesseract is still in the control of Loki's minions. We're examining that. How did it control them, stuff like that. Can it be linked to the Tesseract? And it seems to be kind of messing with their minds. Because at one point, the rest of the team gets in there, and they're all arguing, and you see this camera actually go upside, well, the scene upside down, so it's like really messing with them. And at one point, Banner grabs the scepter, and everyone's really worried about that. He's perceivably the most powerful person there, as of right now. And say, we gotta stop fighting. Find out why Loki's here, because it was too easy to capture him. And Black Widow is the best actress out of all of them, and it's called reverse interrogation. She actually, talking to Loki, she gets him to tell her why he's doing this. It was too easy to capture him. Find out he wanted to be there for the Hulk, to destroy the helicarrier and possibly destroy the Avengers so he can rule the world. And lo and behold, that happens. Bruce Banner hulks out because Loki's minions came and tried to break him out, and they were successful in that. So in that chaos, Banner hulks out and fights Thor, which is a pretty awesome fight. Thor's like the only one that can possibly stand up to Hulk. And they make a joke about it later, when they're okay. So the helicarrier's in trouble because Hawkeye shot an arrow that blew up one of the propellers. And Iron Man and Captain America have to work together to get that running again. And they're kind of left in disarray after Loki escapes and has his scepter again. During Loki's escape, he kills Phil Coulson. And that's the uniting factor for the Avengers. Because they actually did, even though 2.5 hour movie, it's supposed to take place over, I don't know, about a month maybe. They get to know each other and they feel for his death. They're mourning, and that's the uniting factor to go after Loki and take him out. So they go to New York City, where Stark Tower is. It all comes into play. Actually, it's sad, but it's also funny how Coulson dies, because he has this, he's stopping Loki. He's like, and he has this big gun. It's like, you have any idea what this does? I don't know what this does. Want to find out? And Loki did his magic. It's an illusion. He comes back and he's behind him and stabs him. And Loki goes off in a rant because Thor fell for his trap, his illusion again, and got trapped in the cell. And as soon as he releases him, Coulson fires the gun and blows Loki through the wall. It's like, oh, so that's what it does. So a little humor for a sad ending. Avengers are in New York, and at the top of Stark Tower, Eric Selvig is there, and he opens up a portal to the cosmos with the Tesseract. And what comes through are an army by Thanos called the Jatari. Massive waves of soldiers coming through, and these huge, like, whale creatures that just fly around and they destroy everything. It's an awesome, epic battle that they have. You see it go to Nick Fury, where he's talking to I guess basically the rulers of the world. I don't know. They don't quite explain how Shield works. It's part of the U.S. government. It's part of world government. I mean, they kind of do, but it's not. It's weird. The the committee says we're gonna send a nuke to New York City to end this fight, and Nick Fury's no, that's pretty dumb. I'm not gonna authorize that because I believe in the Avengers, and they override him and send the nuke anyway. And Tony saves the day by taking the nuke and riding on his back and going into the portal, and there's an alien ship in front of it. And this is where they kind of stole something from Star Wars. He doesn't throw, he aims the nuke at the alien ship. That blows up, and the Chitauri and the big whale things instantly die or shut off because that was a control ship. And that took a lot out of Tony. You're not sure if he's gonna make it or not, and he fades back in the hole again. And well, the way to close the portal is to take the scepter and touch it to the Tesseract. And Black Widow's doing that, and she's like right there, and she does it, and Tony's falling through, and the hole's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and he just makes it through, and the Hulk saves him and brings him down. So that's the Avengers. Great movie, had a lot of build up to it, and it paid off. Joss Whedon is the director. He is amazing. He's best known for Buffy, Angel, Firefly. I would say bring that back, but I think it's a little late now. Firefly was an awesome TV show, and it had a good movie to tie it up, Serenity. I'll probably do a review on that at some point. So, Thor takes Loki back to Asgard, which leads into Dark World, and then the other sequels that come after that lead up to Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron opens up with the Avengers going after Hydra. They somehow got hold of the scepter, and they're doing the same thing that was done in Captain America, using it to weaponize and take over the world. But they also have two aces up their sleeve. They used it also to create. They can't call them mutants. I think they're called enhanced. They can't call them mutants because Fox owns X-Men. That's why they can't call them that. And I have a video about all of that coming up. They are Quicksilver, which is the Marvel's Flash, and Scarlet Witch, who's a really strong telekinetic and telepath. She really messes with the Avengers in this movie. So it's a great opening action scene with the Avengers, and you find out when they get back the scepter, and they dispatch of what they can of Hydra, because, cut off one head, two more emerge. You find out that they've been operating under Stark's money, because S.H.I.E.L.D. is disbanded in Winter Soldier because Hydra infiltrated decades ago, and they had to get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. to get rid of Hydra. So this is kind of building S.H.I.E.L.D. back up with just Tony Stark's money and the Avengers. And while Tony Stark and Bruce Banner are examining the scepter, they find something inside, which you learn to be a Infinity Stone, the Knowledge One. So they isolate it from the scepter, and it turns out that it's actually like it's an entity. Living. It's a sentient living thing. It's power, but it's not really a being, but it was what leads up to Ultron. They're examining it, and Tony's like, "This is Ultron. This is already an idea that he had with Banner. We can build Ultron and put a shield around the Earth, so we don't need the Avengers anymore. We can retire and artificial intelligent robots that we build can protect the world from any attacks. Sounds like a good idea, but I agree with Banner when he says sounds like a cold world. And Tony says, I've seen colder. Because during the fight with Hydra, yeah, I said Scarlet Witch really messed with the Avengers. What she did to Tony was send them into, well, all of them into like this. Well, at some point, no, just Tony this time. Shows them like what could happen if they keep on doing this, and they're in the universe, and all the Avengers are dead because it's a foreshadow into the Infinity Wars, and Tony gets told by Captain America, who's dying, that he could have prevented it, and that's where he's like, okay, we got to go forward with Ultron because of this. But since the Infinity Stone is a artificial intelligence, it's a thinking being, it becomes self-aware that like well, okay, I'm supposed to help humanity, but humanity's really corrupt. There's no saving it, at least in Ultron's mind. And Jarvis is there, the well, not really artificial intelligence, but pretty close, that helps Tony with his work and everything. He's in the suit when he's Iron Man, and he's there to help figure out this AI. But it's more powerful than Jarvis, and he consumes him. And one of the things that you're introduced to this are Tony Stark has created this group of robots called Legion, and they're there for like crowd control and stuff like that. Not necessarily there to fight. They probably can if they have to defend the civilians from evildoers, but Ultron takes over that operation. Actually, he destroys it, and he comes out in like a mangled one, introducing himself to the Avengers, which is a really cool intro. And the Avengers get attacked by the robots, and Ultron's just kind of like, he's kind of wandering around back and forth because he's controlling them. Well, it's all Ultron. You find out all of them are Ultrons as he keeps his. He has one. I don't know. I guess he's the hive mind. If you're gonna go, if it's kind of like a Borg type thing, and he keeps one body just to be the representative of Ultron. And he escapes through the internet, which has a little. He escapes while singing a little bit. I had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me. It's tie into Pinocchio. It's a nice comparison there. I really like that when they do stuff like that for movies. So they're searching for Ultron, and they find out that he's after vibranium, which is what's made of Captain America's shield. And there's a dealer that Stark knows, black market dealer. He didn't deal with him, but he knows him. That has vast amount of vibranium. And Ultron wants that because his plan is to have a more. It turned out to be more of a cybernetic body, but it is a flesh body instead of a metal body, and it will be the best body he could possibly be in. And there's a character, I can't remember her name. She's a Korean like geneticist or doctor. She's like the best doctor in the world, I would presume, because she can heal and replace tissue with your own tissue, like skin and stuff like that. Future stuff. And she has this tank where can heal your entire body. And Ultron says, well, I can take it one step further and create a body. And he uses the scepter. He also stole the scepter. uses the controller so she can build the new body for him, and he has to download into the body Matrix style. And the twins are still are working with Ultron because they hate the Avengers. They have a they tell a story in the beginning. The beginning, um, they were children and they were being bombed, and one of the bombs was a Tony Stark bomb, and it landed and it didn't explode, and they waited for. They said we waited for Tony Stark to kill us, and that's why they don't like Stark or the Avengers. That's why they're helping Ultron. Um, and she couldn't read his mind until he started downloading into his body. She saw that Ultron wants to destroy the world, at least for humans. He wants it to be all machines. And that's what makes them leave and help out the Avengers. So the next mission for the Avengers is to steal the body back. And in the process, they well, before twins leave, Scarlet Witch, she's so powerful she can send telepathic waves to the female scientist and wipe her of the mind control. And then the Avengers have to go and try and steal the body, and they're successful in that. And Tony and Banner have the same thing. Like, we can still do Ultron. It's right here. It's almost done. We can still make it good. And this time, the rest of the Avengers, except for Thor, are there trying to stop them. Like, look how well it turned out last time. We have Ultron. He's not a good dude. And Thor comes back because there was a part where they're like, because they were messed with, and so they went off to find themselves. And when Thor did that, he came back and he knows what to do. He knows that the Infinity Stone is the key to finishing this being, and to make it a good being instead of whatever Ultron wanted. And you get Vision, which is a new character. He's pretty awesome, and he can wield Thors Hammer. Kind of weird. Which, man, I keep on backtracking. I'm sorry. They're throwing a party after the Hydra mission, and at the end of the party, it's just the Avengers, and Thor's hammer is on the table, and everyone thinks it's a trick that he's the only one that can wield it, and Thor's like, go ahead, and all of them try it, and the best part is when Captain America gets up, and he tries it, he's like, and he moves it like a millimeter, and you see Thor's face like, oh, it's like, oh, okay, he can't. Good. So Captain America is a tiny bit worthy. I hear in the comics she actually does wield it at some point, and so the running joke is that, like, why is Vision wielding Mjolnir? And so Tony cracks, like, he who has the DNA of Thor can lift the hammer. So, and it comes into play later, because when they, like, Vision's like, I'm not for Ultron, but I'm also not necessarily against him. Let me figure this out, because he's new, he's brand new. He's learning things, but he is intelligent, but he's still learning things. He's not sure of right and wrong yet, but he helps the Avengers because he realizes that he sees what Ultron's talking about, but he doesn't agree with his outcome. So that's why he helps them. And there's a huge battle in Sokovia, I think. It's a city somehow Ultron rigs it to separate from the Earth and go up into the atmosphere. And at one point, he's gonna cut the power, and it's gonna hurtle into the Earth, causing an extinction for mankind. But of course, the Avengers thwart that, and they win. But it's but the cool part is they do use the fact that Vision can wield the hammer, because Thor at one point fights Ultron hand to hand, and he gets in. They're like in some kind of a lock or something, and Thor's giving off one of his grand speeches, but he's like, "I can't think of anything else to say. Are you ready yet?" And Vision throws Mjolnir, knocking Ultron out of the park. It's just, oh, I love this movie, and and there's a huge wave of robots attacking the Avengers, and they take him out. And the part where Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are helping him at this point, and Hawkeye gives an awesome speech to Scarlet Witch, because she's scared out of her mind, and he says, "Look, calm down. You can stay here if you want. None of this makes sense. The city is flying, and we're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. This makes no sense. But I'm going to go out there and defeat them because it's my job. You can stay here, that's cool, but as soon as you step out that door, you're an Avenger." And she decides, and she fights, and it's awesome. And S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, taking what civilians are left on the, I guess it would be meteorite now. What is a city, but it's a meteorite now. S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, and Quicksilver, I think, and Scarlet Witch also, they see it, and Black Widow's there to say, this is what S.H.I.E.L.D. is supposed to be, and they're both like, and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are like, yeah, okay, I like that. If that's what they're supposed to be, I can get behind that, and it's really cool. There's, of course, to make it extremely dramatic, there's one kid left, and Hawkeye, he's on the helicarrier, but he goes after and saves the kid. But Ultron is flying a ship, and he's shooting at them with a machine gun. And Quicksilver grabs Hawkeye and the kid and gets him out of dodge. But he dies, which allows him to be in this movie, even though Quicksilver's already in Days of Future Past. That's why there can be two Quicksilvers, because this one's only in one film, where the other Quicksilver is in two films. He's going to show up again in Apocalypse, but those prep works are coming. Stay tuned for that. Age of Ultron. Awesome, epic movie. Again, directed by Joss Whedon, who is a huge comic nerd. So, Avengers and Age of Ultron are essentially really high budget fan films. That's why they're awesome, because he loves them so much, and you can see it in the film. This concludes prep work for Captain America Civil War. It's Friday. I can't wait. I'm not sure who directed this one or the other ones in the past. They're all good movies. That's why I wouldn't say I want Joss Whedon to direct them all, because all of them have good directors. And I know that would be a lot of work for Joss Whedon. He's one person. So, stay tuned for the reaction of Civil War, and then Spoiled Brothers, the spoiler alert version. And after that, I don't know yet. I have a few videos in mind. Obviously, you gotta do prep work for Apocalypse, but I have a Marvel theory. It's a cinema theory, and shout out to Marvel. more Disney. And I have one about trailers I want to do. There's a lot coming. Stay tuned. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people will like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button.
Live your imagination.